everyone, welcome back again to another exciting episode of the Iconis podcast. And as you see in the name today, we are talking about Brian Taylor. And you're like, who's Brian Taylor? We're about to let you know. But before we jump into that, here's about who you need to know. And who you need to know today is what? Need to know. Tell him, Rod, exactly what it is. Yeah,
who you need to know. No, it's okay. Who you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about our friends, our comrades, the people who we are associated with. We will start off with the gentlemen who make this place look wonderful and bright, like the logo behind me and the logos around us, and everything there in between. He will go by the name of the legendary one, the one they call. Was it me gonna do it? You want to do it? You want me to do it? You gonna do it? You want me to do it? You gonna do it? Want me to do it? I'm gonna do it. JayBird digital art. JayBird digital art.
Lock and loaded. And with that, when it comes to JayBird Digital Arts, if you tell him that you've heard about him on the Iconis podcast, he'll give you what? Discount.
Listen.
Save them ducats.
Save those ducats. Keep the funds in your pocket.
That's right.
Funds in your pocket.
That's how we do. Save those ducats. So thank you once again for JayBird Digital Arts. Remember, you also got to support the books. So that's Check Swings, right, out in Montreal, or Wild Comics out in Kitchener. And I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D Carter. You see the links down below. Thank you. Here we go. And if you don't know, it's barry3d.com. And on my side, the man, the myth, the legend, my man, the DJ, coming in just now from a nice hot set. Catch him all over, the one and only
DJ Rod C. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me all over. The links are down below. Listen, we're gonna have some fun today. This is the end. This is the end. Is this the end of the year? Is this the last one? Are we close? How close are we?
We've passed the year. This episode. I know we're recording it before people, but this is actually after. So we are now in the new year. Welcome to 2023. Okay.
Gotcha. Excellent.
Woohoo! Woo!
We made
it. We've done it. 2023, and it's going strong. So, as we said, we're talking about Brian Taylor. Now, a lot of you are going to look again and say, who's Brian Taylor? You're probably looking at your phones, Googling, or you're just going to listen to this podcast, and we're going to tell you.
We're going to tell you
right?
Today.
And it comes down. It's all dealing about music. All about music, right? If you had to go through life and you had your own theme song, would you first of all, would you not like to have your own theme song? And two, who would you get to do that theme song? For me, it would be Brian Taylor, right? Brian Taylor is a composer, a producer, an arranger, a DJ, and you've heard his stuff. Yeah. You've heard it. Now, if you've been a fan of the show and been listening for a while or just jumped on, you always hear me and Rod making musical references, musical cues all the time, right? Because literally, Rod is a DJ.
Yeah, I play music. Yeah, that's what the rumor is. I think I'm going to stick with the rumor. That's what the rumor says. I think I'll stick with it.
His job is in the name. And myself, yes, you might know me as a comedian, but my previous life was a hip-hop dancer, hip-hop and house. House, music all night long. Rock your body. Okay, all right. Show a couple pictures or whatever. But yeah, I was and still love music. I used to run around king of the dance floor. They know me. I've done my competitions, music videos, and live events, and all that. But
yeah, he does.
Yeah. Watch me. So that opening the door, we've never talked about it. Now, this show is always about talking about comic books, fan casting, and that genre we love. But a lot of times what we don't cover, and I haven't really heard on other episodes, other podcasts, and maybe there are, I just haven't heard it, is about the music. So let's get right into it. Brian Taylor. This man was born May 8th, 1972, right? Out in Orange County. He has gone to the University of California, Los Angeles, Harvard University. He's done all that. He's a songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. He's taught himself multiple instruments over the time, and now he composes his own orchestra. As I said, he's a DJ, a composer, a producer, all of that stuff. Now, you might think, Brian Taylor, like, really? Okay, he's also got another name that he goes by called Mad Sonic, which is MADSONIK.
All one word.
All one word. And I'm telling you right now, if you are a fan of movies, even outside of the comic book genre, action movies, video games, TV shows, you heard him.
Yep.
You've heard him. He's worked with others. He's gone and done his own stuff. So let's get into some of the stuff that he's you might have heard from him. I'm going to go through some of his things here. So first of all, he's done Transformers Prime, right? He scored 4 episodes of that. Easy. Okay, here we go. Universal Pictures logo. He's done something that we're a fan of in a whole house. He's redone the intro music and intro for Formula One. If you're a Formula One fan, Sir Lewis Hamilton, number 44, 7-time world champion. Yeah. If you're a fan of, and you watch your TV show Drive to Survive, and then you've watched the actual episodes, or we know where they come on, of Formula One, and he's also done it for Formula 2 and Formula 3, F1, right? He's done that opening score of music when they're showing all the drivers, all 20 drivers, that dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that gives me chills. That's the, you got my man Crofty. Welcome to the Americas. Okay, yeah, that's Formula One. Okay, all right then. So, he's done that. Okay, he's done Triple X Return of Xander Cage. He's done Shell Shocked, the music video with Kill the Noise, with Wiz Khalifa, Ty Dolla $ign, and Juicy J performing on that song. So if you see that video, you see that song, you're going to see Mad Sonic in there. It started off with Mad Sonic and Kill the Noise. He wanted a different feel of it, electronic feel. And then he kind of said, hey, this kind of got a hip hop feel to it. And they called in some of their favorite rappers they've worked with or they know. And they got, Ty Dolla $ign, Juicy J, and Wiz Khalifa on that track for the Turtles. And he scored the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also, So let me break it down for you. Like from 1997, this guy's been going 25 years. This guy's been like banging out, songs. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So, and even ones to come, right? For example, like the Scream 6, he scored that. The Super Mario Brothers movie, he scored that. And then, of course, Redeeming Love, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. If you watch that movie on Disney Plus, well, then you heard Brian in his work. Scream, right? Escape Room, Tournament of Champions, F9, Those Who Wish Me Dead, Clouds, Charlie's Angels, Rambo, Last Blood, Ready or Not, Liberation, 5 Feet Apart, When Men Need What Men Want, Escape Room, Crazy Rich Asians, The Mummy, and we're talking the one with Tom Cruise, The Fate of the Furious, Power Rangers, the most recent movie there. As I said, Triple X Return of Xander Cage, Now You See Me Too, Criminal, Truth, The Disappointments Room, Avengers Age of Ultron, Furious 7, The Expendables 3, Into the Storm, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thor Dark World. Now, that's really important because at that time, he also redid the intro music for the lead-in for the Marvel logo. So when you see that Marvel logo done, that's Brian Taylor. There we go. Right? Now You See Me, Standing Up. So he did both Now You See Me, Standing Up. And I'm going this from most recent to oldest.
Right.
Iron Man 3, The Expendables 2, Break, Columbus Circle, John Dies at the End, Final Destination 5, Fast Furious, Battle, Los Angeles, The Expendables. So he's done all the Expendables movies.
Basically.
Right? Law Abiding Citizen with, Gerald Butler, Jamie Lee Foxx. Middleman, Final Destination, Fast and Furious. The Justin Lin one. Okay, there we go. Dragon Ball of Evolution, The Killing Room, The Lazarus Project, Eagle Eye, Bangkok Dangerous, Rambo, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, War, Partition, Finishing the Game, The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. What? Bug, Annilopolis, The Greatest Game Ever Played, Constantine, Paparazzi, Perfect Opposites, Godsend,
Ascend.
right? The Final Cut, Timeline, The Big Empty, The Hunted, Darkness Falls, Vampires, Los Menudos, Bubba Hotep, cult classic, right? Fatality, Plan B, Terror Track, okay, Four Dogs Playing Poker. So, and I'm almost done, right? And then it's Panic, Simon Says, The Fourth Floor, The Settlement, Six String Samurai, and Bartender. So that's the movies he's done. And for television, Final Justice, Sirens, Trapped in a Purple Haze, Jane Doe, awesome. Last Call, Thought Crimes, Painkiller Jane. And that was a girl who played a Terminator in one of the Terminator series before she did this Painkiller Jane, that actress. You know, Transformers Prime, Beast Hunters, Predacons Rising. Of course, Marvel Studios, Assembling a Universe, and Edge. And, you know, and then there's like television series. So let's just go with the most ones that stand out here for me. Star Trek Enterprise, Hawaii Five-0, Transformers Prime, Terra Nova, Sleepy Hollow, Scorpion, Yellowstone. I know a lot of people watch that one. Swamp Thing. Okay. Yeah, this guy goes on. And then he's done video games too. So he doesn't even, let's put it this way, Lego Universe, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Okay, there's a lot. Far Cry 3, Need for Speed the Run, Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. That was a hot game.
The big one. Yep.
Lost Ark. And his awards are, he's got gold records and awards out the left, right, and center. I'm almost winded reading this guy's accolades.
So, seeing if everyone was paying, catching on, a lot of the stuff that we broadcast to you were or listed basically. He had a good amount of action films, a lot of good action films. Not only the Marvel cinematic ones, he did a lot of good action ones as well. So again, we're talking a good amount of Fast and Furious franchise that he took under his wing. He did basically all the Expendables.
Yeah, all the Expendables.
He did, like you said, Return of Xander Cage, XXXX.
Yep.
The Mummy, which again, like Barry said, the latest one, which is very, the genre of that particular style. So coming with a different type of audio for that made a whole entire different feel for it. You can clearly see that he has a good repertoire of giving action movies a good musical send off, a good musical template to stand on, and basically clearing that it works, that many other, studios are calling out to him, reaching out to him to do that. Like you said, you can't watch a movie, or I'll be saying this way, you can't watch a movie and not realize that you are affected by the music that you hear. The score that's being played, it sets the mood. The way it starts, the way you go into the first act, the second act, the third act, the action is happening at that time, even the quiet, subtle moments. The music as an ambiance, it as a different feel. You can understand it. You see it online. You've seen the jokes where someone will say, imagine this particular scene in this particular audio, different background. It can throw it completely left and you don't know what to do. All we can say, Brian was up to the challenge. He was able to stand on top and just say, like you're saying, the accolades speaks for themselves. There's a lot of stuff he's done. And it's, again, if we want to even pull back more center now to what we're, to our genre and what we talked about with comic books and movies along that line. Again, like Barry said, Thor, Dark World, Iron Man 3, Avengers, Age of Ultron. These are just some of the Marvel movies that he basically was able to coincide and, bring his particular flavor to it. And we've basically mentioned movies that have been well received by many of the public and many of, fans across the world. So I can just say he did good. You know what? I'm just gonna say one quick thing there. In regards to, like, say, Iron Man, you can see, like, in Iron Man, he received the BMI Film Music Award, nominated for the Saturn Award for Best Music, nominated for the IFMCA Award for Best Original Score for any action and adventure film. Similar in a sense when he got to Avengers Age of Ultron. He basically got, he worked and composed with Danny Elfman. That's another legend that, one day we're going to have to come back and reach about his accolades as well. But in the Age of Ultron, he composed it with Danny Elfman, but the theme by Alan Silvertree. They received a BMI Music Award for that. Got nominated for a Hollywood Music in Media Award for Best Original Score in a sci-fi film. Ladies and gentlemen, we have someone who knows what they're doing, and basically, he has the receipts to prove it. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. And he was influenced by his grandparents. So his grandfather was in film at one point, but his grandmother was a pianist, and he started taking up the piano, and that's what really led his love within movies and music and how he merged the two together. And when you watch a movie, if you take these movies and watch them without the music, it's not going to have the same feel. So he set the tone, he set the tempo. That's something that he's turned around and done. And it's not just that he works in one genre. Clearly, he's worked, as I said, from video games to TV shows to movies over the past 25 years. And his movies have brought over billions, not millions, billions of dollars. He's doing something right.
A couple extra coins.
He's going as Mad Sonic. So he's even got his own persona. He's got his own secret identity. It's Brian Taylor by day, Mad Sonic by night. And he's laying down some hip hop beats for a lot of producers. And his albums are like, the Fast Furious franchise. The last one there, the most recent one, Fast Furious. That album was like a top 5 or whatever, or number 1 at one point. And his song's on there. You know what I mean? When you hear that dun dun dun, I actually have it on Spotify. This is how I love the song so much. I put it on my Spotify playlist, and I listen to it in one of my playlists when I'm driving. And it's like, all of a sudden I'm feeling like I'm not Tyrese. I'm not Tyrese because I'm not screaming all the time. I'm right. I could be Tyrese, but I ain't screaming all the time, right? And once again, me and Rod are not in Space and Fierro, even though it would be cool, but it would have to be a Trans Am.
Go ahead. Okay, we can work on that.
That's like, if I gotta call up my car, put me in a Trans Am, a classic Trans Am. Give me the banded edition.
I was about to say it has to be the banded edition. That's where, like, whenever I think of a Trans Am, I'll go to a bandit. I'll go to a bandit, but that's another conversation.
Exactly, but let it be scored by Brian to put it up there. So he's doing this, and he sets these tones. And a lot of times we talk about comic books, we talk about everything else, but we're all musically influenced one way or the other. When you're driving to work, you're listening to music, unless you listen to this podcast. And if you listen to this one, thank you. If you are doing anything, you throw music on in the background to a certain degree. When you're watching a music, it's scored. You might not even realize subconsciously there's music when a touching scene is happening, an action scene is happening. And he's going in there saying, okay, guys, let me see this movie beginning to end. What's the storyline? Writes it all out, puts together, gets it with the orchestra. Okay. And he runs that, 20, 30 piece orchestra easy. It's a big orchestra that he's conducting, but he's put all those notes together and he's making sure that it all fits those scenes. Now, you've seen, for example, Hans Zimmerman, very well known, going around. You've seen the orchestra, the Star Wars orchestra going around. Brian, he's there. If you look up on YouTube and look up the F1, the Formula One theme music, Brian Taylor Orchestra, and he does it live. Woo! Woo! Dudes, get your flowers, man.
Excellente.
He gets the golf clap. He gets the golf clap. Big fan of it. That's all I can say is, like, if I had to get theme music written, it's Brian, because as a comedian, I do a lot of driving. So he's got the F1, okay, I'm a fan of. And Fast and Furious, I'm a fan of. He's got the whole driving aspect on there. When I hear that music come on and I'm seeing a turn coming up, a curve coming up, I can picture myself as Sir Lewis Hamilton, Mr. 44 himself, hitting the apex on the 401. Yeah. I got Crofty being commentator, but I hear that music when I'm hearing that Brian Taylor drops his Fast Five theme song. Dun 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 dun. Oh man, don't let me be in traffic when that comes on. I'm looking to drive on and cut through and have my Vin Diesel moment, even though I do talk a lot more than him in the movies. Still.
Oh, funny. Jokes.
So the question is like, to our fans and even to you, Rod. So out of the movies we would normally cover and our genre we would normally cover, right? And all the movies we talked about here. Let's go through Thor, Iron Man, Age of Ultron. What music, which ones really attracted you music-wise, or are they all the same to you?
You know what? I will say Age of Ultron. The Age of Ultron one was, although all of them had different vibes.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man 3 was a different type of vibe. This is when Tony was kind of like going through the depression and kind of coming out type of scenario. So it was a different vibe of music was needed for that particular part of the movie. Dark World was, again, the mystery of the Aether and everything like that along that line. Now, Age of Ultron was a lot of action going on, because this is when the team had to come together to defeat Ultron and try to figure out all that kind of stuff. So now you having so much fluid motion going in and out. Brian basically have like, I have a lot to work with today. Oh, this is wonderful.
True.
Excellent. Let this playground be my oyster. Excellent. And that was it. He went into a Mr. Burns and he just lost his friggin' mind, which is okay with me. I like it.
Creativity,
but this is it. But he definitely gave you the feel of, like, when Ultron is talking, when Ultron is, when he makes an appearance on scene, you have that thunderous type of music in the background that just umped up your like, you're starting to get you're getting to hear stand on end type of scenario. Listen, again, it all comes back to the composer, it all comes back to the music. If the right music is added on, it will change and shift the dynamics of a movie. It will change and shift the dynamic of anything that you're interacting with. So, what Barry says, like the DJ and everything like that. You can do stuff like, I can have a remix, take an acapella and take an instrumental. You have the wrong instrumental on that acapella, that song can go completely left. But if you have the right one, it's in that pocket. You're like, oh my goodness, what happened here? Where have I been all my life? This is exactly what Brian has done for us. Where have I been all my life? That's exactly it. And I'm good. True. So yeah, Age of Ultron would be out of the three that we did there. You know what? You can even you did Constantine as well.
Yes.
I know that was more the mystical arts aspect of it. So the music would then, again, it's catered to that. I was liking more action. So out of all those, that Age of Ultron would be my one to go to.
Yeah. And it's done so subtly, but it does make an imprint, because you walk out. So for any of the people listening to the show, if you've listened to watch those three movies, go back and rewatch one of them for sure. Absolutely. And then you're going to see, oh man, this is my scene. But then stop and think, what's the music playing behind that scene that amps it up that you don't even realize? Right? That's what it comes down to, is that, you got the big battle scene at the end, okay? And you're like, oh man, it's leading up to it, and and the tempo slowly just kind of picks up, and the bass kicks in, and the drums are coming in heavy, and you hear the horns, and the string section is picking up its tempo a little bit. And you're like, okay, that scene was impressive to watch, but it was also impressive to listen to. And Brian, he scored that whole thing beginning to end just right. And he's done it so well with his other movies. So this is what we're doing this episode, is because people, you don't even realize you're a fan, but you're a fan.
Right.
Completely. You're in it, but you didn't realize you were in it. It's like, you're going another layer down. I mean, we have the actors and actresses that portray the characters that we love. There's the books that, were written by and produced by the comic book companies that we love, right? And the characters were created by the industry greats, from writers to artists. And then it got into the live medium. and
Right.
made screenplays and scripts. Okay. And then actors and actresses are attached to it, and special effects people were attached to it. And we see all of that, but you hear the music that leads up to it. Even our show, we have a little theme music at the end of our at the beginning of our show and the end of our show all the time, because music is important to everybody. It's something that's existed for years. Can you imagine watching if you see a movie or a show without any theme music or out any being scored in between? It's done on purpose to really make us hyper focus on what was happening at that moment. So you want to hear the background walking steps and all. And that's very short. Most of the time you're watching something, there's some little music in between from TV shows and all that. You know? Yeah, I don't care what show you watch, even down to soap operas, you know.
Oh, there is always. There's always it's basically saying in every scene, you may have a 3 or a 5 minute scene.
Yes.
It may not be a full movie throughout that 3 to 5 minutes, but within that, in that scene, there is music being played at some point.
Yeah,
there's music being played at some point, so it doesn't have to be a full thing. So this is to give them a good analogy to everyone to think. Like, it's not saying that compose like a 2-hour movie. It was music from beginning at the count all the way to 2 hours later. No.
Right.
In between, like, you might have accumulated up to about an hour and a half of music, and there just might have been like a little bit in between that you hear no sound or anything like that. But a movie, you'll have more composers. I'm thinking more of a TV show, as you had mentioned, and that's the reason why I'm thinking like that.
Sure.
But in reality, there's always going to be music somewhere in there, no matter what. There's a scene. It's hard to have a scene without music. I think that's what I'm really trying to say. It's hard to have a scene without music.
Absolutely. And I'll back you up with this one right now. This is not Brian's one, but this is to me, one of the most popular ones that stayed up the pop culture over the years. And it's a very simple thing. Here we go. You ready for it? You ready? Dun dun. Anytime you hear that, dun dun, you're like, oh, that's Law and Order. And that's how it starts, eh? Dun 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 dun. You know, anytime they got to switch from one scene from this person now going in court. Dun dun. Woo, okay, you're in court. Dun dun. Oh, we're back to the officer. We know those two little dun dun leads up to Law and Order. Brian has done this with movies, games, and TV.
That's it.
You don't even know. And then of course he goes by Mad Sonic. Yo, sick name. And so if you look at him, you're looking at this guy. You see a picture of Brian, you're like, oh, okay. Then he's got the nice coiffed hair. He looks very okay. And then you're like, wait a minute, he was throwing down with Juicy J, Wiz Khalifa, and Ty Dolla $ign. Hold up. Music knows no color.
Facts.
That's my one statement. Music knows no color. Finds us all. I don't care. And I don't care, if I don't care what music you listen to, it's still music. I don't care if it's rap music, country music, you know what I mean? Heavy metal music. It might have its own category, but it ends with music.
Yep.
Brian hits all those levels for me. When I go back to the Fast and Furious franchise, from like 5 up, when I go in the Expendables, all 3 movies, and I know they're working on a new one. So hopefully he's going to get attached to the new Expendables 4 when it comes out.
Right.
It sets the tone. It gets you going, man. When I said I knew Brian, because I said I had him on my Spotify list, right, for Fast Furious, and I only knew it from that one song. And then I'm a huge fan of F1. So when I was watching F1, and my brother-in-law and my wife were like, hey, look, it's the orchestra that does the music at the opening. I'm like, oh, who does it? Brian Taylor. Wait a minute. That name sounds familiar. And that's when I had to jump back to my Spotify list and look. And I was like, Brian Taylor. Wait a minute. You telling me the same Brian Taylor that's done the dun, 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 dun is like dun, 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 dun. I'm like, hold up. Okay, let me go back here. Let me just see Brian Taylor and look. And then I saw all the stuff he's done. And I realized that I've watched his movies raised billions. Yeah, I've added to that collection.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can see by this show, I would have watched and have watched, all the Marvel movies, the Expendables, the Fast and Furious movies, the Turtles movies, the Transformers movies. He's got me in all of those. Okay, and video games, yeah, he's got me on some of those too. But Assassin's Creed, he's got me in all of them. All right, then I realized I was more of a fan, and that's what's cool. Like going back, I realized I was more of a fan of his music than I thought.
Right. You didn't
He gets
know.
nominated all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. He's up there, I think, in the 10 top composers, money earners.
Wow.
Right? And I know Hans Zimmerman is like, okay, but Brian Taylor, if he goes on tour as an orchestra, because I know orchestras go on tour and they do like concert. If he goes, I'm buying tickets. I will go. I will walk in there with my hoodie. You probably see me on here. I love my hoodies, as you can tell on this channel if you watched the YouTube show. And you see me wear it's like a black hoodie. It's got the little Mercedes symbol in the front, but in the back, it has Sir Lewis Hamilton, number 44. Why do I keep saying Sir Lewis Hamilton? Because he's been knighted by the Queen before she passed away. So officially, his whole title is Sir Lewis Hamilton. Team LH, number 44. That's my boy. Driving for a black driver. He's a black race car driver driving for Mercedes. With his boss, Total Wolf, who sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He even does a video like, get to the chopper. Get to the chopper. I think I actually have a clip of that video. I'm going to try to put it up there. It's like him saying, yes.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Yeah. They're jokers making money, though. Hire us. So this is why I think, go back and call out some of your favorites. As I said, my favorites are definitely the Fast and Furious, the Expendables. And then you get into the rest of that. He's got, and of course, we all know that when I hear that every second Sunday, Formula One start, I'm missing my Formula One right now, but it comes on when it's on for the weekend. I'm watching the pre-race, the qualifying, the race itself, the before, the after. I got F1.com here in the house, so we watch all the races and we get the international feed. Like I'm there. I'm there. I'm on the Reddit pages checking out all this stuff and all the changes going on. So trust me, I'm there. I mean, yeah, I keep talking about Lewis, but my team was Lewis and Valtteri Bottas, and then Bottas went to AlphaTauri, and like I'm still with you, Bottas. That's my man. He's got his cheesy 1970s mustache and a mullet going on right now. I'm down with Bottas, right? And we got our Canadian drivers too. So, woo! And I'm looking forward to hopefully Audi coming in 2024, 2025, hitting the grid also. That's looking, okay. So we can talk Formula One. My all-time the two guys though, man, is and he's left there, and I call him the Phoenix because he survived a fiery crash, right? And that Grosjean. If you look up Grosjean, his crash in F1, and he walked away without a couple of burns on his hand, that could have been fatal. Wow. And now he's in Indy, and of course, that's my boy. That's Grosjean. I was always down with Team Grosjean. I still follow him on Instagram. Anyways, getting off on Formula One, I can talk about it as clearly as you see. So I like those movies. I like the score that he did even for The Mummy, and was hoping they would have done more of the Dark Universe, and that he would have been attached to those projects more if they would have done it really their vision. I think they should really go back and do that. But this is where I stand.
Okay.
Brian Tyler, thank you. And you might hear the words orchestra, and you might have the old school thing like orchestra people. I'm not going to be into classical music. But if you go back to some of the movies, you realize you're probably a fan more of classical music than you think. And this is to all our viewers. I don't care what music you put on your Spotify, on your CDs, on your tape decks, on your 8-tracks. I'm not sure how old school you are, but you are. You are more of a fan for it. You just didn't realize it.
Right.
That's my whole spiel right there. And I said, go back. I would definitely say, look for his Fast and Five. Crazy Rich Asians was another huge movie. I still haven't seen that one yet, I'll be honest. But The Mummy, I've seen. The Fate of the Furious and Power Rangers. Along with, there's a lot of movies you need to go back and watch. And listen. Listen. That's all I
I'll
say.
be listening. I'll be listening. I'll be listening. I'll be listening.
So Rod, here we ask you this question now. You mentioned
Mm.
that. So if you had to take any of these movies, shows, whatever, anything that he's worked on, and you had to pluck one particular scene, maybe for your own um, theme music. If you had to have a theme music when you wake up in the morning, it's like the Truman Show. Okay, so picture instead of the Truman Show, we got the DJ Rod C show. And which feeling would you like to go from? I'm not asking you to name a piece because that'd be too hard to nail down. But out of all the movies you've seen, would you say, hey, you know what? Give me something similar to like the Avengers: Age of Ultron. Give me something similar like Thor 3. The Thor Dark World. Give me something similar like the Expendables. Or what would you? If people had to turn around and do a Truman effect on you, what would you theme song would be similar like? Or if it's a mix.
Yeah. I would definitely say Age of Ultron. I would probably, I'm trying to think, I think the scene, it'd probably be the scene at least at the end, just before they fought,
Right.
all together when they're in the cathedral in the church, that particular scene. When Thor just did his typical, is that the best you got? Really have to ask, didn't you? There. I'm trying to think in Fast and Furious, because I did like Tokyo Drift. I did like the
Right.
Drift. I did like Drift. And definitely having the Tokyo, the Asian type of influence in there as well was, I like that type of concept as well. So I may take something from there as well. Can't think of a scene. Even the Age of Ultron, I'm thinking when he was getting connected with the vibranium, when he was basically getting connected when he was in not the I'm trying not to say the word coffin, but I just said the word. But when he was in the box, when he was getting himself, when Vision was basically getting assimilated and getting set up there in that room, if I remember, I like the vibe, when he kind of like, took over from there. Yeah. So if anything, it will be a Fast and Furious, either Tokyo and maybe a Fate of the Furious and Age of Ultron. So it'll be in that circumference vibe is what I would take.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, I know for me, if it was the Barry Carter, the Barry 3D show, like the Truman Show kind of thing, I think when I wake up in the morning, I need that, dun, 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 dun. I want that grandiose entrance when people see me brushing my teeth to that, having my morning tea, right, and dun, 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 getting dressed kind of thing, and then starting my day, dun, dun, dun. I want my day to, my own, coming to America kind of entrance. I'm over the top. That's what I need. I need the F1 theme to start that. And then as soon as I start walking out to the car and I start the car up, and the car pulls out very calmly from the driveway, da 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 da, and I pull into Tim's and I get my tea to go kind of thing, da 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 da, very calmly. Then I take the on ramp and I get onto the 403, da 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 da, dun 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 dun, because now the music's got to pick up because I'm on the highway, the speed's going up, and that's me now zigzagging in and back and forth.
Listen,
to get to the office. Hopefully traffic don't get to me.
And then something happens and he steps out of the car. I'm here at work, thank you. As he goes to his desk.
Right.
He's going for the coffee. I'll be right back, going by the water cooler.
And then get some somber music as I'm working, kind of bring it down kind of thing. And then, near the end of the day, it's coming around again and give me like maybe the theme song from one of the Expendables or Triple X, something like that, that he's done, until I get back in that car again and I have to get home. And it's like, I start driving, all of a sudden, dun, 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 dun. And then, the phone rings and then my daughter's asked me, Daddy, can I get something? And I'm like, of course, my blood pressure going up, like, how much is it going to cost me? And then you got to put that end score scene from Age of Ultron where they're all battling, where the Avengers assemble, because now it's just my pressure is going up and I got to get this and I got a detour to go over here.
Listen, I know this is not Brian's, but you brought up when you talked about Coming to America. that particular scene when Black Panther opened up,
Yes.
I actually had you know, South African outfit, like Nigerian. I think it was Nigerian outfit that I wore, or whatever the case to be, and
Mhm.
I made sure I had the the driving theme. I had that
Yes.
on a loop. I had my JBL speaker. I walked into the theater. Actually, when I left the car, my daughter's like, "Hey, really, Dad?" Yes, yes, I am. Walked into the building.
Yes.
And it was way past on point. And then I saw another friend like, "What? You're just too? You're just too? Yeah." Yeah, we're yes. It was
And you get to the counter and they still gonna ask you, what movie are you here to see, sir? Are you joking?
yes, this is the music from Coming to America, but I think it gives enough relevance for why I'm here.
Right? He was a black man dressed in Nigerian clothes playing music from Coming to America, and there's only one black movie playing. They're still gonna say, so what movie do you want to see, sir? What movie do you think I'm here for?
Give you the old Spock eye.
Right? The people's
Interesting.
eyebrow.
You know?
Ah. Oh shoot.
Yeah, that's gonna be funny. Yeah, we're gonna have to do wrestling on the next one. We'll probably
Right?
do that. We may have to.
Yes.
Now we might have to do that. Okay,
Yes.
we'll work
Because
on
I'm
that.
just
We'll work on
rocked
that.
that way.
Okay. Oh,
Absolutely people's elbow. Oh, we go talk wrestling. So once again, we haven't fan casted anybody. We just wanted to bring some light and do something different because music makes you lose control. Music makes you lose
lose
control.
control.
All right, then. What I need if Brian Tyler is able to work with Wiz Khalifa and Juicy J and Ty Dolla $ign, I need Brian Tyler to come back as Mad Sonic with Kill the Noise. Come up with another funky beat. Bring my boy Busta Rhymes on a track.
That would be interesting.
Just one, and it's got to be a club banger. It's got to be a club banger that can be used in a movie because Buster's done some movies. So use that in I don't know, maybe in Expendables, maybe Expendables 4, like for the end credits and stuff like that.
Right.
So Brian, if you hear me, not sure if you would, but let's put it this way: Brian Tyler, Busta Rhymes, Kill the Noise, Expendables 4, end credit scene.
Let's go.
Wow. That's the collab I need to see. And for good measure, throw on Eminem.
Okay.
I call it as I call it.
You calling it as he calls it.
I call it as I call it, man. That there is a club banger. Rod, any last words before we wrap it up here?
You know what?
Brian Taylor.
Listen, the individual by the name of Brian Taylor is a unique composer who brings wonderful vibes and music to our ears that we like to hear during these wonderful action films and other type of films that he helped bring his style and grace to it. No, seriously, I'm very, very happy to as we started looking into this, and like you're saying, you're gonna have to go back and start checking out these movies just because you realize you were already affected by it, but you didn't realize who was the person just poking the bear. So I got you right here. Well, how you like that one? How you like that one? So I'm definitely going to be, in the next little while, I'm going to be trying to go back over all these as much as I can and just hear and just realize now I can put a name to the feels you get when you're in the movie. I will just say that it was great going through his repertoire, seeing what he's brought to the table and what he brought, and his contribution to the industry, and know that hey, technically this guy ain't done. This guy's not done. Now that you know the name Justin Taylor, Brian Taylor. Sorry, you will now, by default, you're going to now be more attentive. I'm guaranteed. Everyone who's listening to this, you're going to now be more attentive. That when you watch a movie that you like, and you realize, oh, The music was on point, and it made me feel much involved. Take a chance. See who it is. You may be surprised. We might have just gave you a leg up, and then finding out who will be one of your favorite composers. Just saying. Just saying.
Absolutely true enough, man. I can't even speak more on that. Once again, hopefully, Brian, thank you. Keep on going, man. And that's it. This is by no means like the end. We just wanted to kind of give people visibility and audio ability.
Right.
Listen when you go to the movies next time. Listen to the ones that have played before. Go back and listen to them. You can't miss out. Add them to your Spotify playlist. I know I have, and that's no joke. So on that note, on behalf of myself, Barry 3D.
And your boy Rod C. Let's do it.
This has been the Iconis podcast. Thank you. Remember, like, subscribe, rate and review. Don't miss out on any of our episodes that come out weekly, every Tuesday on YouTube and every Wednesday, the same Wednesday. So every Tuesday on YouTube, Wednesday on all podcast streaming sites. As I always say, this whole world was started by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming.
Music makes you lose control. Music makes you lose control.
Oh. All right, I'm good. I need to end it off. Drive. Yo,
we'll end it off. Wait, we're gonna end it off with this. Ta-dum.
No crimes have been committed here between this hour and this hour. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.